Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I've been missing hockey a lot. I don't know about you, but it's been over a month now, and it looks like it's going to be a couple months until we see hockey this season, if at all, or at least playoffs, and it has really been killing me. But as I've been sitting here thinking about hockey, watching hockey clips, whether it be on NHL Network or just on various clips on YouTube or throughout social medias, I've been left thinking about certain players this past season that I haven't heard their name as much as I thought I would be. Now, I shouldn't say that for all of them, because there are some players on this list who have been gaining plenty of recognition this season. But as a whole, I haven't heard about them nearly as much as I thought I would like to. And especially going into next season, I expect all these players to have career years. Now, all these players are, of course, in their early to at least mid-20s, and they are ones that have been coveted pretty much since they've been drafted, but since then have either had a strong season or not so great season below expectations, whether it be due to injury or just lack of play, in all honesty. But that tends to happen a lot of times with younger players who are only in their first couple seasons in the league. There could be this thing called a sophomore slump, of course, which isn't the case with this list. But among other things, a lot of different things can happen when it comes to younger players and being consistent. So I'm going to discuss 5 players that I'm truly a big fan of, and I expect them to have dominating seasons in the NHL next season, in 2020-2021 season, and will have career years in my opinion. So starting off this list, I have Alex DeBrincat. Alex DeBrincat I'm a huge fan of. Since he's been drafted by the Chicago Blackhawks a couple seasons ago, the, as you could say, undersized left winger at 5'7", 22 years of age, Alex DeBrincat has been a phenomenal young uprising player in the AHL. Last season alone for the Chicago Blackhawks, he had 41 goals and 76 points, looking like the sky was truly the limit for the young player. But this season he has definitely played a little bit downward in regards to, in 70 games played, he has only 18 goals and 27 assists for 45 points and a plus minus 10. Now, when you look at those numbers, you think, how did that happen after such a stellar season last year? Well, these things do happen. Slumps can happen for a player early in their career. He is only 22 years of age, so you need to put that into consideration, of course. But DeBrincat is a fantastic player with a lethal shot. I love watching his game. When I get a chance to watch the Blackhawks, whether it be through videos or just on the TV, I make sure to do it because DeBrincat is one of my favorite up-and-coming players. And even though this has been a down season for him, I fully expect him to bounce back and then some next year. I see the Chicago Blackhawks getting closer back to playoff contention within the next year or two, and I fully expect DeBrincat to be a huge part of it. So expect DeBrincat to have a career year next season, and I would not be surprised whatsoever to see him hit upwards of 80-plus points. That is how good he is, in my opinion, and I expect so much from him going forward. But next on my list now, I have William Nylander. Now, Nylander, you might be wondering, why do you have Willie on this list? He has had a very strong season this year. That may be true, but like I said, he's still young, and I expect a lot more from him, and you should too. Nylander this season, the 23-year-old right winger for the Toronto Maple Leafs, has had a very strong season. Really underrated too, does not get enough credit I believe he deserves given all the other studs on the Toronto Maple Leafs, of course. But in 68 games played, he has 31 goals, 28 assists for 59 points, and a plus-minus-2. Last season, of course, he only had 27 points in 54 games, as he held out for quite a bit going into the season, dealing with contract negotiations in which he ultimately got a long-term contract, to which many people have said he's been overpaid. But looking at his play this season, I would definitely say that is by no means the case. Nylander, I get there's a lot of attention that happens with the Toronto Maple Leafs and their fan base, among other things, but Nylander is a fantastic player, and the Maple Leafs are, of course, grateful to have him, and rightfully so. Regardless of where you put him in the lineup, he has done fantastic for them this season, whether it be 5-on-5 or on the power play. He is not a defensive liability by any means, and I expect a lot from him going into next season. Nylander has the potential to easily be a 80 to 90 point player, in my opinion, and I fully expect him to get close to there next season. Now, while Nylander is only 23 years old, he has plenty more growing to do, which is insane given how much he has progressed in the NHL to date. I fully expect him to have 80 to 85 points next season. He is just that good, and he deserves more recognition without question. But next on my list now, I have Jake Gensel. Jake Gensel, as a Rangers fan personally, I don't love the guy, but I do admire his game for sure. I'm not a Penguins fan by any means, but I do definitely respect players from each team in the NHL, and Gensel is without question one of them. I remember when he first scored his first NHL goal against the New York Rangers on Henrik Lundqvist, and I believe that was in Madison Square Garden. So I remember that, It was quite a while now, though. What? 4 years ago now? It's crazy. But regardless, Gensel, the 25-year-old left winger, has been fantastic for the Penguins. And while he has dealt with injury, which is the reason why he's only played 39 games in this season, he was on a ridiculous tear with 20 goals, 23 assists, 43 total points, a plus-minus of +11, and had 40 goals and 76 points last season. So he was really rolling last season, and this season I would have expected to see the same if he didn't deal with a significant injury. But there's been a lot of speculation that if the season does pick up at some point this year or for playoffs, that Gensel could very well be back with the Penguins. And that would be very interesting to see if you're a Penguins fan. But overall, Gensel, a fantastic goal scorer, is perfect alongside whether it be Crosby, Malkin, whoever it may be. He's proving he's not a product of them by any means. He will score you goals every single season and is another kind of diamond in the rough type player that the Penguins have brought up into their lineup within the past couple of years and have thrived tremendously. The Penguins are one of the best teams, in my opinion, when it comes to depth in their overall team. Drafting guys, whether it be in the mid to later rounds, every single season, and still doing fantastic in that category. Because the Penguins, of course, if you know their GM, Jimmy Rutherford, he has traded away their first-round picks for quite some time, with them drafting a guy in the first round last year with their own pick for the first time in quite a while, I do believe. And I believe that was Sammy Poulin. I'm not sure if that's his first name. I think it's Sam Poulin. But regardless, Jake Gensel is a fantastic young player, goal scorer, elite goal scorer, one of the best in the NHL already, and I fully expect him to be healthy next season, of course, and saying that, I can see him hitting 90 points. I really do believe it. He's just that good, and with the type of team that the Penguins currently have, and with Crosby and Malkin not slowing down anytime soon, I just see so much left in the tank, and then some when it comes to Gensel. But next on my list now, I am Matthew Barzal. Matty Barzal is one of those players where in his rookie season, he was insane, 85 points. He was playing with John Tavares at points, of course, and since Tavares has left, he has played not bad at all, but still averaging around 60 points a season. Now, while that may be true, I still expect a lot from Barzal. I don't think he's a product of Tavares by any means, and Islanders fans would especially say that. I know they would crucify me if I were to say something like that Barzal isn't nearly as good without Tavares, because that isn't the case at all. Barzal is a fantastic player, a little bit smaller in stature given him at the center position, not at 6 foot, or at least close to 6 foot. But regardless of that, he has been an elite, almost elite player, I should say, in the NHL, and I expect him to easily be a 90 to 100 point centerman in the NHL. And if you look at him, he's only 22 years of age, which is insane. The centerman has so much left to give, and I expect a lot from him next season. I expect as much as 90 points next season from Barzal. I expect him to take that next step in his game. I know it wouldn't really be a next step given his rookie season, but since he has had 2 seasons now around 60 points or so, I expect at least a 20 to 25 point jump next season. It's got to happen. There's so much when it comes to Barzal. He's a fantastic player, a great playmaker, but knows how to shoot the puck by all means. And there's so much to love if you're an Islanders fan, of course, or just a hockey fan overall. But to conclude this list now, I have Andrei Svechnikov. Svechnikov, another one of my favorite up-and-coming NHL players in the league. And since he's been drafted, I've been such a big fan of his. I scouted him big time. I was watching so many different, whether it be review videos on him leading up to the draft 2 years ago, I should say, or it was just reading different articles on him and just examining his game, really breaking it down. He really reminded me a lot of Malkin in a lot of ways, and there's so many similarities, especially once he adds some more weight, and not that he needs to add a whole lot more, but I expect Svechnikov to get bigger and stronger as he becomes a better NHLer, and next season I expect so much from him. This season, the 20-year-old right winger in 68 games played has 24 goals, 37 assists, for 61 points and a plus-minus of +9. last season. In his rookie year, he had 37 points, including 20 goals. So a great 20-goal campaign in his rookie year, and he has almost double that already in regards to overall points in his sophomore season, and I expect him to almost double that again next season. Svechnikov has the potential to be an elite player in the NHL, and I don't see anything stopping him, especially with the type of team that he has around him, with the likes of Sebastian Aho, Teuvo Teravainen, etc. There's so much to love with that Carolina Hurricanes team, and I've raved about them plenty in previous videos, so if you haven't checked them out, please do if you're a Carolina Hurricanes fan especially. But overall, I'm a huge fan of Svechnikov. He's a fantastic two-way forward, really, and I wouldn't even say that he's a liability in his own zone, because he isn't, and he's only going to continue to get better. He has a lethal shot, whether he's on the power play or 5-on-5, and he has such great hockey IQ, smooth skater, just knows how to do everything flawlessly, might I add, and I expect so much from him going forward. So if you're a fan of the Hurricanes or a hockey fan overall, expect Svechnikov to easily have a 20-point jump in his overall game next season. But that is going to conclude this video. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I would love to hear your feedback. And if you like this video, make sure you check out others, as I just post consistent NHL content on all things NHL related that I feel are good to make a video of. And this was definitely something that I've been wanting to do for a while with these certain players. So if you haven't checked out my previous videos, they are going to be right down here for you to check out after this one. So once again, thank you all so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, all those great things, and I'll be back in a day or two.